When I returned to the classroom, about the third week in school, I found myself coming to school every day dressed in a blue uniform and copper buttons. I had become a cop. Now let me show you how this happened. I mentioned Mary, who came to my class late on a regular basis, and the usual approach is, if you have a rule, you've got to enforce it. Now, rules are extremely important and necessary for games. But notice what happens between people, because so many teachers rely on rules, which, by the way, do not create desire. So, what the teacher does is, if a kid breaks a rule, there's an almost automatic natural tendency to want to enforce it. I realized I was coming to school as a policeman, as a cop. I voluntarily returned to the classroom to enjoy my last number of teaching days because I wanted to become a role model, a facilitator of learning, someone who develops character with young people, not to become a policeman. And so I realized that there's got to be a better way than what I was doing. So what I did is I looked at all my rules, and I realized there were either procedures, in which case I taught them, or they were expectations. And I'll get to my expectations when we get to the discipline program and talk about the hierarchy of social and personal development. My point, I looked at my rules and realized that automatically I was enforcing them. So as you will see, since I want to raise responsibility, that's what I called my rules. I called them responsibilities. I want to invest a little more time on the topic of rules and convince you not to refer or to rely on them, even though they are ingrained into the profession. If your objective is to empower your students and have them put forth effort in their learning and have them want to behave responsibly, referring to rules is counterproductive. Rules impose rather than empower. You need to determine whether you want to rely on imposing rules or empowering students by teaching procedures. Rules imply an or else. Remember that before you teach anything. The second phase of the discipline without stress teaching model is learning 3 principles to practice that will enhance both your professional as well as your personal life. But before we do, let's do a little bit of practice, a little reflection. What we have learned so far. Do this by listing at least 2 procedures you will implement immediately. And remember, there are a number of them listed in the resource guide.